What's with that? You're live. You're on here. It is. You can't hear it. I can. So just pretend.
All right, what's the beat?
It's really fast.
No.
So,
It's not.
there you go. And of course, it's 6:30 p.m. on a Friday. That means it's time for Whining with Dawn and her lovely panel of ladies. Dawn, good evening. I'm so glad you're here.
Good evening, Pete. How are you?
I am like super awesome sauce.
You're super awesome sauce?
Yeah.
What makes you super awesome sauce today?
Because I just am. That's how I live my life.
I love that. Yeah. You are a very positive person.
He is always, yeah. In a good mood.
He is. You're always, sometimes must be good about you.
It's lazy. It takes way too much energy to be... It takes too much energy to be angry and negative. I don't have it.
It does take a lot more.
You took a lot of negative energy out on me the last time I saw you.
I did.
But that was so fantastic.
But that was coming from an area of my personal life. And,
for those listeners,
you touched a nerve, and I apologize for that. I'm so sorry.
For the listeners right now who have no clue what we're talking about when Uncle Pete's quote of the day was
our very first episode.
Very first episode. What did you say, Pete?
Bitch, I'm broke.
Bitch, I'm broke.
And the bitch was Liz.
and I am so sorry for that. I do apologize. You're a lovely young lady.
It was so well played. It was perfect.
It just came out.
So we're excited to see what we can get out of you today as we continue the trail of talking about how dumb people are.
I'm going to just try and sit here and be quiet and let you guys enjoy doing your thing.
Well, thanks
awesome.
so much.
Awesome.
Hey, Ted. Nice to see you, too. So, speaking of that, right?
Okay.
First of all...
Well, we've tossed around many ideas for this week's show.
So, we were just talking about mom shaming, right? We started talking about that. And then you said something, Jennifer, that I'd like you to repeat. What did you say?
Well, no. So, it started because, we started talking about you being dog mom shamed by the vet.
I was dog mom shamed today.
And we'll get into that story because it's rather funny. And then Liz was saying, mom shaming. And Stephanie said, I don't bother with that crap. Well, and Dawn's like, well, no, Mom, guilt. And she's like, well, yeah, sometimes I have that, but that's not because of what I'm doing. I'm like, no, it's just all the fake crap that people post on their Facebook pages in their fake reality that makes you feel bad about yourself. But I said all the fake fuckers and some other horrible things. You said
all the fake fucking people who post lovely things and then feed their children
cockroaches behind the scene. They're like pretending that they're so lovely, and then you find out months later. It's probably off of that Collier thing that I've been hearing all over the place. I think that's where this is coming from.
What do they call it when it's kid shame? So, for instance, a few hours ago, my son calls me and he says, can you order me McDonald's? Oh, I was like, absolutely not. I'm not going to order you McDonald's to be delivered.
He's a little bit of a bully with that, too.
So he's like, but there's nothing to eat in the house. You haven't grocery shopped. And I said, have a peanut butter and jelly Uncrustable. No. I said, have a hot dog. He goes, no. I said, well, then figure it out. There's food to eat there. He goes, well, I'm going to go to Mrs. Pfeiffer's house, and I'm going to tell her there's no food and see if she'll feed me. So I'm like, have at it.
Good luck with that.
So an hour later, an hour goes by, and I call Liz. And, for those of you who watch, she has him during the day for school. And I said, well, he must not have eaten much with you. He must not have had much lunch today. And I said, and I tell her the story, and I'm like, so did he not eat anything? And she's like, I don't know, he wasn't with me today.
Mom of the year!
That was Mom of the Year once. And then I realized, oh, that's right, he was home today. Yeah, he didn't eat it all today. That's it. He didn't eat anything.
In fairness, he is 11. He is fully capable of feeding
capable of feeding himself.
I've been to Dawn's house. There is ample sustenance in the home.
There is. I have 2 refrigerators.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's ample sustenance. Yes. And my 14-year-old pulled this crap on me yesterday, too, where the crying, there's nothing to eat. I'm like, oh, my God.
Right?
There are choices.
So, you know what? Maybe here's an idea. We can actually set up, we can have, third world you. And you can send your child, and we can show them what it's like in the third world, where there really is no food.
Just make them go volunteer at Feed My Starving Children, and then make them eat the food that they pack, because they now give you a sample of it.
My kids thought it was. They're just like, it's not that bad. I'm like, oh, okay. So if this was the only thing in the house, you wouldn't be like, there's no food in my house.
It was so funny. Well, wait. So then I go home. Right now it's 5:30, and I go home, and I'm like, "What do you want to eat? I'm gonna make you food before I go to my show."
I don't want
So
your
he
food.
didn't. He's like, I'll take chicken nuggets. So I take them out, and I go to put them on a plate because I'm in a hurry to microwave them. And he's like, "Oh no, you need to use that thing on your counter like Mrs. Pfeiffer so they're crispy."
Oh, the air fryer.
I said, "Go to Mrs. Pfeiffer's. She's cooking for you, microwave or
You
not."
have an air fryer that doesn't take that long.
I didn't have time for an air fryer. I had to go fall in the ice.
Oh, that's right.
So anyway,
We'll just
so
have to tell him that Grace uses the air fryer independently, and then he'll have to up his game.
that's what we should just start doing.
Yeah,
we
'cause
should
my
start
kids can
saying
use-
my son to my kid. We should start saying, "Well, Grace can do it."
Yeah.
Even if
Well,
she's
see,
never done
well,
it.
and that's what we were
And
talking
then you
about.
should do the
We were
same.
talking about shaming the kids with each other, like for
Yeah.
shots and stuff. I did it with my kids. They had to get blood drawn for their yearly physicals, and Cece, my daughter, went first because my son is afraid, and I'm like, if she takes it and you act like a fool, and then they have to like call in the security guards to hold you down. I'm like,
You mean like Eli? Is
I'm
that what
gonna.
you were
I
trying to
will
say?
film this and I will Snapchat it to all of your friends. So I will Snapchat her doing it, and then I will Snapchat you doing it to your
So
friends.
you were kid shaming.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Do
And
you do that?
You want to know what? His blood draw was no problem at all.
She's like the dog trainer of kids. You should hear her. She's like, my kids don't do anything. My kids, I tell them not to do it, just like her damn dog Sally.
I mean, my kids
Yeah.
do things, but sometimes I just can't relate because we just have boundaries that have been established
that?
at birth.
What is that?
And so they
What
don't
is a
cross.
boundary?
What is the
We
boundary?
have a line. We call it Mommy's Patience Meter. And so,
You're getting in the red, kid.
So
they
how
have
does
a-
it work? Teach us.
well, they have like a set, like, so my patience, however I wake up in the morning, so my patience are usually about here.
Okay.
And then if you're doing things and I say I'm not a fan, that's an indicator to you that you're doing something probably shouldn't be doing. Like jumping on the couch or,
Throwing the ball against the wall for the 5,000th
yeah,
time.
or,
Yeah, mhm. Been there, done
whatever you're going to do.
Okay, so then do you
And then
you just do
so
this?
It shrinks. And it shrinks and it shrinks to the point where the fingers, if they touch, then there's a consequence. But the fear was established at a very young age, so my fingers have never touched.
How did you establish said fear?
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly.
Did you beat them?
No,
Ground them?
I just look at them.
I'm kind of
What's
afraid
the
to go
look?
to her house.
I don't know. I just stare them down.
I've
I'm
been
just
to her
going to
house.
send my kids to
I
her
just
house.
treat them like a puppy. When you're training a puppy, sometimes like if a puppy's being bad and you're the mom dog, and you need your puppy to acknowledge, you just give them a little like pinch on the neck, because that's how it is. So like the kids, I give them a little flick on the nose, and then so it was.
Uncle Pete approved.
So it's just like I treat them the same way. I mean, my dog is pretty well behaved.
Sally
And
is
so-
ridiculous. Her dog's name is Sally, and not to be confused with Sally Santos, who just learned that our friend has a dog named Sally. But Sally, she made
the dog, yeah.
her dog Sally.
No counter surfing.
No, her
No.
husband made a bucket of brisket, and they put it on the counter, and we went downstairs.
Dawn is so amazed by
I am
this.
fascinated by this. We went downstairs. We were downstairs for like an hour. We came back, and the dog was just laying, and I don't even think it was in the kitchen. And the food was there. I don't
literally-
understand this thing.
I've been this close to Dawn's dog at her counter where
Yeah.
I'm a human is at the counter preparing a plate, and her dog will be like, "What are you doing? What's going
Let's
on?"
be
What
honest.
up
It's
there?"
worse
I'm
than
like,
this. It's worse than this. Here is a piece of bread. Hold the piece of bread.
Yeah,
She's
she'll-
making a sandwich. Here's my dog.
I mean, literally,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like
I mean, I could leave
she has
food
no-
on my couch and go get like a
no
drink
shame.
and come back.
Yeah, no.
Or like if I took
Oh.
the brisket in question, if I took it and I put it in her dog bowl, she will wait until I tell her she could go eat it, because there's human food in her bowl versus dog food.
My dog.
that's fantastic.
My
So I
dog
treat my
eats
kids.
out of the garbage. My dog opens
Whatever
up
you're doing, I like
doors.
it.
My dog counter surfs. My dog is literally in a leg brace, and
oh,
will
because she's a
and has a broken other leg with a rod in it, and can somehow get on a counter and eat a pizza.
Yeah, I mean it's
So
the same
you
way
just-
like
did you just get this dog?
Both of her dogs are rescued, so they were not
Listen,
hers from birth.
I have
But-
no boundaries with my children apparently, or my dogs. I am a colossal failure as a mother.
You're just a big softie.
I am a big softie.
You are a big softie because I've heard you talk to your kids and
Uh-huh.
I've seen it. Like
I,
you
I'm
are,
a
like,
terrible softie.
your
It's the
waist
single
is
mom
fucking-
syndrome. It's what it is. It's
my aunt, when her daughters were growing up, so my cousins, when they were growing up, because they're like 14 years younger than me, so if they were misbehaving or whatever, she'd be like, I'm sending you over to Stephanie's house.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
going to
I should
cousin
do that.
Stephanie's house, and that's where you're going to be for the next, like, 3 weeks, and whatever. She would always
Yeah,
threaten
see,
them.
it's like-
to,
Oh yeah,
come
well I'll
over
be
to my
doing it.
house.
Okay,
You
Ashley
should
Rose.
open up a
Ashley Rose says hi everybody,
Like a camp.
and the Pampered Chef
Oh,
air
I don't
fryer
like
is
kids.
the best.
yes.
Sally Santos says hi ladies.
Hi,
P.S.
Sally.
Everything goes in the air fryer here, and Dawn, I love you in a hat. Thanks, Sally. And she says I secretly hate that your dog's name is Sally, but I still love you, Steph.
That's why I never told her my dog's name.
That was funny until the
I
other night.
avoided it for years. I've known them for what, like 2-3 years now. I've known the Santoses.
Just call it my dog.
Yeah.
My dog.
That's so
Never
funny.
did.
And then I ratted her out. We were at dinner, and I was
so
like, "So her dog's Sally," and Sally's like,
What?
"Your dog's name is Sally? How did I not know that?"
I mean, in
'Cause
in
I'm-
your defense, the dog, you knew that you had the dog before you knew Sally Santos. So it's not like you named the dog after Sally Santos.
I feel like that still would have been a compliment, though.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
Sally
a good
Santos
dog.
fantastic,
It's a
so,
good
yeah.
dog.
Yeah.
That's right.
But yeah.
So we've established that she's the dominant figure in her house. I think Rich falls in line too. Let's be honest. And what about you? Have you had any mom shaming or colossals like that? Anything?
We always do. I'm always a failure, I feel like.
Yeah, right? Isn't that terrible? We all
So,
feel that way.
I'm a stay-at-home mom, but so therefore there's this assumption, I feel like, that I should be baking cookies and that we should have these elaborate Valentines coming up and we should have this, because what else am I doing? But yet, I've had days where I'm like, I guess you didn't do your homework today, okay.
I mean,
like-
oh my God, so many people have that.
But what's my excuse?
Yeah. Is there a way for people to share their shaming?
Yeah.
Oh, look at how good he is.
Sure, he's like a step ahead of you.
He's so
He's
good.
the share a brain,
Yeah, share your shaming
which is very
experience.
scary for you.
I think
yeah.
the only time I was
I
like,
think it's
mom
my friend
shamed was by a
Courtney.
cop when I was like 16.
Courtney's watching.
it.
Courtney, do a mom shaming. Send us your information.
Yeah.
So should I
Courtney.
tell you that story?
Yeah.
Yeah,
do
tell us that.
Do share.
All right. I'm not going to give all of the details, but basically, me and my mom got into a fight. Cops got called. And I wasn't living I was 16, 17, so I wasn't living in her house at that period of time. So it was like a few days. And then she babysat Gavin. And then because I was a teen mom, and the cops came and whatever, and it was 10:30. I had just gotten off of work, so I was coming to pick him up to go to where I was staying, where his crib was, because I disassembled his crib and took it over there. And the cop was like threatening to call CPS on me and everything because Gavin wasn't in bed, and he was like 11 months old. So he wasn't in
I'm sorry, what? He wasn't in bed?
Yeah, he wasn't in bed. He wasn't in his crib. He wasn't, ready for bed in pajamas. And I'm like, I just got off of work and I'm coming to pick him up. I'm like, clearly his bed is not here. She was watching him while I was at work, and now I need to go to where
Take
I'm
him
staying.
home. Yeah.
And he's like, did this whole thing, and he threatened to call CPS. And I'm like, go ahead and call, because there's no legal thing that says the bedtime of a child. Like, we don't have a bedtime in my house. We still don't have bedtime in my house. My kids go to bed when they're tired. Like, I know I'm very weird about that, so I'm sure people have judgments and things to say about that.
Sometimes I don't even know where my son is, if he's in his room or in the family room at bedtime. So trust me.
I think
Well,
it's
not
just
alone.
dependent on the family dynamic. Every dynamic is
I mean, like, Eli stays up until 10 o'clock. I mean, like, when we went out for dinner, and even though we didn't stay out very late, but I guess he was tired early, and he's like, and he likes when I put him to bed, and he's like, well, where's mommy? Her car is driving so slow. She needs to get home because it's time for bed. So, like, if I'd go to, like, Mixers when we had stuff for the chamber and we were all open, like, I guess Eli's the only one that puts the mom guilt on me, because he'll stand there at the door by the garage with baby dragon waiting for me to walk in the door after
To put him to bed.
the mixer.
See, and some kids like that. They just want you to put him to bed.
He's like, Daddy doesn't do it right. So
I mean, let's be honest.
You're like,
That's a whole
"Tell me
new
about
show.
it."
Yeah, that's a show.
Tell me
Daddy
about it.
doesn't do it right. Can that be?
Pete.
Yeah. Yes, he does. Daddy
Oh my
gets
God.
it done.
Can we
no
do that as a
question about
new
it.
show? Daddy doesn't do it right. Oh my God.
That's
Let's tell
fantastic.
Kevin we're naming the show Daddy Doesn't Do It Right. That's fantastic.
I will not qualify to produce that show.
No,
Sorry.
you won't qualify for it?
No.
Oh my
I
god.
know. Pete takes the man shaming pretty to heart, don't you? I mean,
Well, probably
Um,
because he's not a stink pot like Kent, who, and maybe he actually like.
have you
treats his
taken your
lady
wife
right.
on a date?
Oh yeah.
When
Yeah,
was the last
see?
date you took your wife?
Uncle Pete treats his
Actually,
lady
whenever
right.
she wants to go somewhere, will go wherever she wants to go.
Yeah.
She's not she doesn't do public. She's my wife is amazing, and she has severe, and it's people know this. She has severe social anxieties.
Okay.
So if and when she wants to go somewhere and there's a place she wants to be, then that's what we're going to do, and it's fantastic. Otherwise, I'll think of things to bring home for
But
us
nice,
to do.
romantic things.
And
He's
you know,
romantic.
I know what she likes and I know what she enjoys, and so, and I don't know that it's so much romantic insofar as
It's very
recognizing
thoughtful.
that she enjoys things, and I like to see her smile. So
Yeah.
that's all there is to that.
Yeah.
Okay, wait,
Maybe
Sally-
we can have a Kent.
Sally Santos
Tutoring
says,
session.
is mom shaming something you do that's bad, or is it something your kids make you feel guilty for? I'm sure I have a story I can share.
Sometimes it's more of what other
Mom,
women
yeah,
and
mom
moms
shaming is
do
if
to
you shame another mom. Kid shaming is when your kids shame you.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Mom
So-
guilt is when you feel bad.
yeah, mom guilt is when you feel bad. I lost that. I don't have mom guilt anymore.
I don't think I don't listen to anybody else's opinion on how I parent my
I'll
kids.
drop my kids off at your fucking house if you got
Because-
something to say.
Seriously.
I mean, like, I mean, like,
You want at it? Have at 'em.
I just don't listen to anybody because, like, everybody's house is different. Everybody does it their own way. It's their turn to parent. So, I don't know what's right or what's wrong. All I know is that as long as my kids are not assholes and they're not murdering anybody and they're not murdering animals, it's a successful
That's
Mom win.
I mean, I'm going to totally change that. I'm a winning. Remember?
Yeah.
Like 10 minutes ago, I told you I was a mom failure.
Yeah.
My children don't kill animals.
Right.
They're not murderers. They're
Nope.
very sweet and kind.
Right.
Mom win.
Mom win.
Yeah.
That is all amazing.
win.
Thank you
Yeah.
for that.
Because, I mean, so as long as they're not doing, bad out in the world, then I
Right.
don't feel like you're failing. I mean, when Gavin had his 16th birthday, I gave him a huge high five because he didn't knock anybody up, so he's ahead of me at that point. Since, I had him at 16, so I was like, all right, there you go. I'm like, I succeeded as the next generation and
one
prevented that from
hurdle.
happening.
Listen, I have to tell you, this is one of the many, many reasons why Stephanie's one of my dear friends.
Classic.
I adore you for that right now.
Yeah, I love it.
Fantastic.
You're like-
He turned 16 and gave him a high five and said, thanks for not getting home my baby. That's fantastic.
Yeah, thanks for not making me a grandma.
Yeah, I was so happy to not be a grandma at 32. I'm like, this is a good day.
You're like, thank you.
Yeah.
Job well
Oh
done,
my
Mom.
God. That's hilarious.
Oh my God. No, so here's a question for the the child tamer over here. You didn't have any girls though.
No, I don't birth
Okay.
girls.
So my daughter's driving me like straight up a wall right now. And she's
the
just
age.
well, it's the age. It's totally the age. Like she's getting the hormonal crap going on. She's a psycho. She calls. I mean, like I'm out with clients, and she knows. I don't know how she can laser focus to be like, is she with clients? I'm gonna call now.
Do you have a shared calendar?
Here's the thing. She cannot it's the you answer the phone. I'm like, hello. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm at the point where I'm just, and then she's like, she said this to me, well, you don't like me. I'm like, do you like people who call you and start screaming in your ear every time they call you? Do you like people that come in your room when you're minding your own business? You've done my mom's shit for the day. The dishwasher's on. Y'all have eaten. Stuff's in the laundry. Leave me the fuck alone. It's 10 o'clock. And this child, Logan just looked at me sideways.
Oh my God.
How old is she?
11.
Oh, well, it's different because
And I'm like,
with a boy, this might sound bad, but like with a boy, if they're being out of pocket and they're like walking in front of you and you give them a little trip, like nobody really judges you. They're kind of like, whatever.
Just do
Or we a tap tap, a shaft tap, shaft tap. Do you know what a shaft tap is?
You missed that last week.
Do you know what a shaft tap is?
No.
Let me just fill
Let
in.
Leslie tell you.
Listen, so we may or may not have a panelist that we will not name Liz, that,
or her alter drunk ego, Leslie.
who likes
Liz does it too.
who likes to walk up to her husband in all day and hours of the night, could be unexpected, and shaft tap him.
Oh, well, I can't do that to my kids. That's weird.
No. I mean,
That's a whole other show.
Touche.
What, you just like, smack him upside the head?
No.
Usually it's backhand. It's a little like.
she actually says sometimes it's a ball shaft. I mean,
It's a,
I happen to.
Sometimes she does it with
if
her
he's
foot.
in front of me, yes, it depends. It's
You'd
very.
be walking home if you did that to me.
Uncle Pete.
I witnessed one
Absolutely
the other
no
day.
ifs, ands, or buts about it.
No, or shafts about it.
Yeah.
Well,
no.
like we joke
Sorry.
that he's like literally he has like PTSD from it.
But
That
you know what?
He's like
No, but
constantly
it would
take away
happen
from-
once.
on edge.
Sorry to take away, but we actually had a conversation about that since last week. And I was like, you do realize, like, I could never do that to anyone else. He's like, that would be really weird if you did that to another man. I'm like, I know. He's like, that's our thing.
Oh my God!
Like,
Seriously,
That's our-
seriously.
Like, he really...
Florence, it's like the Florence. What is
I think
what is
he's
that?
bored by it.
Stockholm syndrome.
I'm serious. That's what she said.
Yes.
That's what she said. I mean, and literally, I watched her do one, and I was like, oh, and he was like, stop.
Okay. That's along the lines of, you guys know who Bill Burr is.
Yes.
Bill Burr,
Yeah.
comedian. Yeah, he does a whole bit on stop, no. And if it's stop it, no, that's not stop it, no. That's hey, I just don't want you to think that I am this much of a freak and haven't done this with 400 people already. And so, but that, yeah, if that's how that comes out, that's an indicator.
So shaft tapping is her foreplay.
Apparently.
So,
Well, I mean, we did
well, good for you. Everyone's
establish...
got their thing.
So I've always been really awkward at a surprise party, an adult surprise party. And the only time I got excited was when they brought out the paddle.
I mean, that is true. I
Like-
watched her get very excited.
Oh, then
at
you
her
should
first-
take your husband to the Hosper House.
What is that?
It's a restaurant. It's a German-themed restaurant. It's a brewery.
Uncle
And
Pete's face is like.
It's in Rosemont, and after you drink, so you order him some shots.
Okay.
And it comes out on a paddle. And if you have never been there before, you don't know. But once you finish the shots, then they take the paddle and you get paddled. But it's not like, oh, a little tap on your butt. It's like the waitresses like back up
Oh my
and
God.
like whack you, and like their what is it? Like their pens and their straws all fly out of their aprons. I mean, they hit you good.
Well, it's
what-
a German
I
restaurant.
I
They're
just
known
want
for
you to know,
being-
for those of
I'm
you who
very
are
German,
watching,
so maybe that's
and
part
you
of it.
can't see our producer Pete in the booth, this is Pete the whole time.
No.
Nope. Not, you don't want to go there, Pete?
Uncle Pete don't get paddled.
Yeah, well, it's in Rosemont. You could do that.
That's
Or,
hilarious.
in Vegas, they have the Heart Attack restaurant, and then once you finish your burger, they paddle you. Or if you don't finish your burger, you get paddled.
See, but I feel like
She's
that
like
would
one of
be
those.
under
I'm not
one of
sure
those
which one.
lines with him, where because there's always Dawn and I talked about this the other day about basically sexual bartering. Was that what it was?
Okay. I have to explain this to y'all. So again, I've explained to you guys that I have a third row seat to their marriage.
Yes, for sure.
For sure. I actually said
Yeah, she's the fifth
yesterday,
wheel- the fifth wheel over
I'm
there.
making a big financial decision, and I came over to their house last night, and I'm like, listen, I need to ask my husband and my wife a question. That's how sick and demented we have become. So they're talking, and all of a sudden, I'm listening to them discuss things, and I'm realizing that they are sex bartering. So they play this game where if you do this, Liz says, basically, if you do this, I will reward you with this.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
how it came out was she said something, and she was like, I'll do this. And he's like, yeah, no, you won't. It's not gonna happen. I've fallen for that a bunch of times. There's no reward here anymore. And they started to explain to me.
Yeah.
Now, please
The
explain.
Liz who cried wolf.
No, right? Seriously. So explain this bartering system.
Well, it's exactly, you explained it already.
Except apparently Kevin keeps falling, and he keeps doing his side.
It's wishful
His,
thinking.
and it never comes to fruition.
Well, lately the issue has been I fall asleep a lot, and it's not intentional at all. At all. I feel so awful. I really do.
What was with that look, Uncle Pete?
Just wondering at
Daddy's
what time
doing-
you are falling asleep.
Daddy's
Well, let
doing
me
it wrong.
explain to you. I
The
get
new
in
name
it-
of the show.
I pick her up for the show today, and she was like, "I just feel terrible." Can I explain this?
That's fine.
And I said, "What happened?" She's like, "I just feel so bad for my husband." I'm like, "Why?" And I'm thinking something traumatic happened.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, last night we got in bed, we showered, and then we got in bed, and it was going to be our night, and he's rubbing me gently on my chest, and he's just rubbing, and it's part of, like, his payment, right? Like, he has to rub you."
No, he was just being nice.
Oh, so he and he, like, pet her to sleep.
Well, that's
And-
a nice guys finish last.
Right? And so then I said,
He was so, like, he massaged me. He basically gave me a full body massage. So I was
And you went to
very
sleep.
relaxed, and I fell asleep. Now, in
It
fairness,
happens.
this was like, I mean, we didn't even get to the bedroom until like 1:15.
Oh, yeah, see that
So
one.
it's not like I'm saying,
At 10 o'clock.
yeah. So apparently what we're hearing is that,
needed to
look
go
at
bed
Pete's
sooner.
face. Pete's face is killing me on the show. You need to sit here because
I
the
know,
audience
it's
is missing your face.
So funny.
No, I'm good where I am.
Are you sure?
I'm
Yeah,
fine
see, this is
and
what
dandy.
gets sent to me.
What is
oh
that?
my god.
What is that? I can't see.
Handlebars! A strap-on set of handlebars!
Can you read that?
So it just says, "Behold, the tear that ass up 3000,"
Oh,
and
God.
it's like a belt strap that you would use for lifting, but it has a set of handlebars, slid in there.
There's a camera right there.
Oh,
Yeah, you could show
This
up.
is not FCC regulated. You
No,
can.
not at all.
There you go. Behold, I think Courtney has that. We'll see if she's still watching.
Oh my god.
wait. So is sex bartering like after Rich won the tamale competition and we got home and he's like, I won. He's like, I won the tamale competition. I'm like, yeah, I know, I was there. I was like, that's great. And he's like, huh? No.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
No.
that would
It's more like
that would be
if
reward
you do
sex. Yeah,
if
no.
you do this for me,
It
then
would, no, here's
later.
what it basically is hey, Kevin, can you watch Julia and Adam and Grace while I go to Dawn's and watch an hour of Grey's Anatomy? And I promise I'll hook you up later. And
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, let's do it. And then you come back to the house and he's
he
like,
rubs you and you fall asleep.
He waits and he's waiting and you either never mention it that you were going to pay that for his 1 hour of free babysitting of watching his kids.
We generally discuss our terms ahead of time. And we've established that, because whenever I say something and I ask him, like, okay, so what's it going to cost me?
That's what she
usually,
says.
that's what it is. I ask him, like, all right, so what is it going to cost me if I ask you to do this? And he'll be like, well, I'm like, all right, well, we both know 1 and 2 are not happening. And he's like, since we've already had that conversation, not really in the mood for 3, so I guess we're not doing anything. Have fun.
That's what happens. It's called sex marital bartering. Does anybody know anything about that? Bartering of a particular nature. Yes.
Yeah, what do we got? Nothing?
No.
Courtney was watching. Where's Courtney?
I don't know. I'd like to know if Courtney has that thing on her phone. So,
You could get it on Amazon.
yeah. Okay, wait. So we started to Amazon. So we started talking about the shaming. That's actually what we started to talk about. And so we were talking about how I today had to go to the dog vet.
Oh, the dog vet shamed her good.
The dog shamed me bad, and I've been having some dog guilt. Because I have lived in unincorporated McHenry for years and years and years and years. And at a certain age, I don't believe in vaccinating your dogs after they get to like 10. There's no reason for it, in my opinion.
She's got big dogs,
they have
mind you. So
ginormous
like
dogs.
their life expectancy is 12.
Yeah, 12, 14. So I don't really get them vaccinated after 10. And
And they don't socialize with other dogs.
ever. So I got a letter I moved in town a couple years ago, and I got a letter from the animal department, whatever you
Animal
call
control.
it. Animal control, saying that my
Dog's on the list.
my dogs
For
needed
kids.
their rabies vaccination. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll have to go do that. So I made an appointment to get my dogs vaccinated for rabies. And so today I called, I had to move the appointment a half hour back. And the woman's like, well, let me just reiterate. So we're having a dog exam, we're having distemper, we're getting heartworm, and we're getting rabies. And I was like, no, we're just having rabies. And she's like, but you really need to get your dog distemper, and you need to get your dog heartworm. And I was like, no, he's 14. Like, no, I'm okay with that. She was like, but... And really started to shame me that I wouldn't give my dog anything other than the rabies. Hi, Joe. And so I felt terrible about it. And I was shamed to go into the place, so I made my son go with me so that I couldn't be shamed into it. And then
That's
the other
where you're
thing...
supposed to pull the I can't afford it card.
And then
that's a good idea.
That is a really good idea.
Good one, Liz.
That's a good idea.
Stop. They
Well,
just stop.
Then so my dog has what do you call them? Lymphomas? What do they call them?
yeah, like he's
So they just got
like
lumps
fatty-
all over them,
fatty-
fatty lumps all over
yeah.
them, and the vets have looked at them before, and they're all fatty lumps. It's very common in labs.
She's had them biopsied before,
Before.
and like every time it's the same thing.
It is. So the new vet says to me, well, you should really have the one on his neck biopsied. And I was like, why? And he's like, well, because you never know. And I was like, but it's probably a lymphoma. And he's like, well, you should really do it. I said, okay, well, what happens if you do it and it comes back positive? He says, well, then we'll do an ultrasound, then we'll do some x-rays, and then we can come up with a course of action. I'm like, the dog is 14. Like, what do you, I mean, it's a 70-pound, 14-year-old dog. What am I going to do if it has cancer? So he's like, so you don't want to know?
Nope.
No, I don't want to know. So I didn't do the $140 biopsy. So can they report me for being a bad mom?
No.
No.
That's just dumb.
Right?
It's a 14-year-old big dog.
Right.
The course of action is it's a 14-year-old big dog. The
Right.
course of
Right,
action
exactly.
is, as sad as it sounds, pretty much a hole in the ground is the course of action.
I mean, I wouldn't go
So-
that far. I
But the
would
thing
probably
is, like,
cremate
the
him.
dog has had seizures this year. He's had like a couple other things. I mean, it's like
There's something. I mean, he's getting old.
He's old.
yeah,
And don't get me wrong, I will be devastated. I have
Yeah.
had this dog for 8 years. I love this dog. I rescued it when it was 5. I love it. I love it. I love this dog to death. But a 14-year-old dog, I don't think you biopsy and give
especially
chemo.
a big dog. I mean,
Right?
that's old for
Right.
a
Yes,
big
exactly.
dog.
I mean,
And
if
he
the
looks
dog
it.
was
He's like
4,
practically, if he was an adult, I mean, how gray is my dog? My
He's-
dog is
yeah.
gray.
And every time I see him, I feel like he's
Yeah.
grayer.
Yeah.
And see, Ashley Rose says, good. Why put him through all
Right,
that?
exactly. What are you
Right?
gonna do?
Well, and
Right,
they have to
and-
sedate him for the X-rays.
Right, and here's the
all
other
sorts
thing.
of other crap.
Talking about mom shame, here's what would happen to me is let's say they convinced me to do the
Oh
biopsy.
my god! And then he did,
And then
she'd
he
do
did
it.
have cancer, and I didn't do anything to save his life. Then I'm like, oh, I mean, I might as well have just given him the electric chair.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we all agree I did nothing wrong by
Oh,
not
no.
getting the biopsy.
No,
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 you're
you're
fine.
I think it would be a significantly different conversation if the dog was a puppy.
Of
Right. If
course.
the dog was 4,
Even if the
different
dog,
kinds-
I mean, my dog, just so y'all know, my dog, and my 10-year-old dog last year had $5,500 rods put in his, or in her leg. She had a torn ACL, right? ACL,
Yeah.
and a torn meniscus. And
some
so
fresh ice?
my dog had to have surgery, and then for 12 weeks,
Oh, it was
I had
so
to carry
bad.
the dog, my 65-pound dog, with a handle up its ass so that it couldn't use its leg. So I'm good. It's 10. That was okay. 14, I don't think.
no,
Well, my-
especially since he's had such bad health issues this year.
Yeah.
It's like he's not. God love him, but he's not long for this world.
Okay, wait. Sally
He'll probably live
Santos.
to 20.
Sally says, my pediatrician totally mom shamed me a couple of years ago for not accepting a script for Addie for Tamazol or whatever that. Oh,
Tamiflu.
Tamiflu. That was causing all these side effects in the kids. She was like so pissed at me for not wanting her to have it. TLC cures the flu. Duh. Everyone knows that. So she gave. She
Oh,
mom
and I
shamed
guess
her.
I got mom shamed by my pediatrician too.
Really?
I didn't do the flu vaccination
I don't either.
because I just don't do it. But so I didn't do the flu vaccination, and she like
They
was a
all-
hardcore
they
press
all-
for a
yeah,
good,
they
like,
all try to
7
do
minutes.
that.
I didn't know I was being mom shamed, but now that you guys are talking about it,
Yeah.
I guess it's
Yeah.
I had this.
Yes.
You've got a
I
very hard candy shell.
Yeah, I
Yes.
just
She's in Penna.
Yes.
I'm just
She's-
oblivious. I mean, my mom had a whole like fountain statue put in her front yard, and I was living with her at the time, and I didn't notice for at least 3 weeks. So
No,
I just
I've
stay
had
in
the,
my lane.
I get it with the there's certain things at the doctor where I'm like, yeah, do it, and there's other things I'm with you, Sally. They don't need Tamiflu. I mean, seriously.
I don't know. I wonder how many people give their kids the flu shot.
I gave my kids the flu
You
shot.
did?
Yep.
I don't
My
know.
daughter got hurt. She was born in, well, both my girls were born in January, but Julia, she got her first one before she turned 1, I believe.
Because
Either.
your pediatrician told you to do that.
Oh no, I mean for us, especially at the time, because we're a little bit unique situation. And initially with with Julia's first flu shot, because I've always gotten it. I have asthma. I've been getting it since I was like 19. I remember it was actually my OB was like, oh, and since you're here, we're just gonna go ahead and give you your flu shot too. I'm like, okay, vagina's flu shots, okay, that works.
I see the correlation.
Yeah. But she's just very assertive. I'm like, okay. And I was young and I just didn't have an opinion. And I was just like, okay, you're smarter than me, sure. But anyway, so I've progressively continued getting it. And then that season, my son, so he was diagnosed with epilepsy when he was 3.5. And he couldn't get any more vaccinations. He was on like strict boundaries with a few things. So he wasn't, like, we couldn't vaccinate him. So, like, when he went into kindergarten, I had to prove things like, well, it's not that I don't want to vaccinate my child. He's not medically safe to get a vaccine.
Yeah.
So, for us, he was getting vaccinated, or she was getting vaccinated to protect him.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah, we
So-
don't have any like compromise situation, so we don't.
That being said,
Yeah.
we still continue to get that. And, like, this last season, we got them, me and my kids, we all got them in, like, October-ish. And even our doctor was like, this one shot now, you don't need to have the flu concern on top of COVID, which is a valid thought. And I'm not trying to persuade anybody. It's just, it's our...
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody has their own thing, but nobody's going to
But
mom shame you because you had it.
If you choose not to, that's fine. It's about respecting others and their differences. Like, that's
Exactly.
absolutely fine.
Exactly.
I mean, we choose to do it. We have our reasons, and I shouldn't have to validate them.
Exactly.
Right.
Agreed.
Right. So what else? Give me a really bad mom shame or
Well, I mean, like, here's me. Like, I will, and, like, trust me, ladies, been there, done that. But if your kid is screaming bloody effing murder in Target, I am going to the other side of the freaking store. And my kids know it too. Like, my kids hate it too. They're just like, oh, let's not go that way. And we'll go to the other side of the Target. I mean,
That's so funny.
solidarity, woman. I get it. Been there, done that. But,
See,
like,
but
I'm not
I'm
going
the
to go
mom-
hang out with you.
No.
Like, I'm running the other direction.
I'm the mom, though, that I found myself because I've had the child that has screamed and done all of that stuff before. And now they're all reasonable, but, like, I'll see another mom, and you just see it in their face. Like,
Oh, yeah.
they're struggling. They
Oh.
just want to get their shit and leave. Like,
I
they
get-
don't want to be
yeah.
there anymore. And I just look at them like, you got this. And it's like, you just see that. Like, we have to come together as parents and as women sometimes.
Yeah, it depends
and
on
do
how
Eli
bad
one
it
time
is.
was
There's
having
some
a
months.
But then there's
temper
other
tantrum.
times I'm just like, yeah, give
Eli
it to
was
him,
having a
kid.
temper tantrum in
My mom deserves
J.C.
it.
Penney.
Some, yeah,
I will never
for
forget
real.
this. He was having a fit in the middle of the floor, right underneath like the pajama rack. And I
would've left that
remember
kid.
walking
Bye,
away
Felicia.
and leaving and just being like, I'm going to act like I don't even know whose kid this is.
100%.
And I walked away and like hid
Love it.
behind like 4 racks over where he couldn't really see me. And it was like he was just laying there screaming. And in like 1 minute, he like stopped and looked and he was like, Mom? And I was like, here. So he stopped crying immediately. And the minute he started to panic that he couldn't find me, I was like, are you done? He never did it again.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
Gavin never did. Well, we were at Woodfield Mall, and he was gonna have a temper tantrum, and he laid on the floor, And I was like, ew. And he's like, what? And he like kind of like looked at me. I'm like, ew, that's disgusting. I'm like, now we gotta go home. I'm like, you have all that bacteria all over your body now from laying on the floor. Someone had poo shoe. Like, ew.
Right, exactly.
And then he's
what's
like,
the
and
matter
then he
with
kind
you?
of became a little bit of a germaphobe for a little bit. And we worked through it, but after that, never temper
And then on
tantrum
the
ever
flip
again.
side, I have the child who licks the mirror every time at
Oh.
the doctor's office.
Oh my god. My kid licked a end table at Elmhurst Hospital.
Oh, why?
We were there. My mom was having a mastectomy, and so we were there waiting, and we're in the waiting room, and I literally, like, I've got crayons and stuff, and we're doing the stuff, and I'm like, all of a
Is
sudden,
this Logan?
oh yeah, I turn around, and he's like, I'm like, you're gonna have MRSA in your mouth! And he was like,
But don't you think that's funny? Because it's the first kid.
oh yeah.
Now, if it was Cece and she looked at him and you're like, have at it, it's your problem.
I mean, this kid. I mean, he's like, you know, the kid, like you're in the cart. So finally, I got like a cart cover. But you know, you'd be like, you're walking through the grocery store, and he's like
You know,
on the cart. I'm like, oh my
Here's
god!
the truth. Is it not true? Come on,
Yeah.
we all have multiple kids. Is it not true that you had when Sammy was born? I had the cart cover. I had the pads.
I kept
I
it
had.
over CC.
I'm the exception.
I
I
didn't do any of that.
didn't do. I mean, Eli. I was
Like,
like,
just eat a little dirt. That's how it builds your immune system. You'll be fine.
So
what,
I'm
so
a little
drink
pizza
the
bit
whole
agree.
water.
Pizza agree.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we sent in. They didn't need vaccines. Go play in the dirt and drink from the hose. Worked for me. It'll work for you.
That's hilarious.
I was broken though.
Go climb a tree.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
can't say that because Julia, she does way more than I can imagine. That I mean, Julia has got free reign more than my kids had because she's your
With
third.
some stuff, yes, but in
She's
the
your
beginning,
third.
no, in the beginning though,
I mean, sure, of course, everybody's in the beginning,
but because of everything that we went through with Adam,
yeah, but I mean,
so I was just a basket
but even now,
case.
like it's the truth. You don't realize it, but there is no way that anybody would do the same things with their second or third kid that
Right.
they do with their first
I
kid.
had
There's
such
no
a
way.
well,
huge age
Grace
gap,
was like
though.
perfect.
Me too. I had 6 years, and you have a lot more than
I
6
have
years.
15
But yeah,
Yeah,
I
years
have
between my
6.
kids. But like, oh, I have a story, I guess,
Ooh.
of a weird mom shame moment. A nurse offered to buy Gavin.
I'm sorry.
Bye.
What?
Yeah.
Excuse
Oh,
me.
that's right. You've told me
I
the
had
story.
like kind of a little bit of postpartum or whatever, and I had anxiety leaving the house just because of some weird stuff that happened when I was pregnant. And so my mom finally convinced me to leave the house, and we went to TGI Fridays for lunch. And so we're there, and you know, Gavin's in the car seat because he's like a month old, and he's sitting there. And so a nurse from a local hospital, not in the McHenry County, came up to us and was like, oh, what a cute baby, whatever. And she's like talking to my mom, and my mom was like, no, I'm not his mom, she's his mom. And she's like, oh, you're really young and whatever, and I can't have kids, and offered to buy Gavin from me.
Because
I'm
that's
just curious,
normal.
what does a child run for?
I know.
This was like 20 years ago, so I'm
Evidently
sure
not
inflation,
enough
like,
to make the exchange.
No, I will
but
tell you.
my mom was like, oh, he's cute, he's a keeper, we're just
That's
gonna keep him."
hilarious. I mean, that's
That's
so
like,
ballsy that somebody would do that.
But nobody
No.
would do that to an adult mom.
Never.
But like,
I mean,
the
they'd
stuff
go to
that,
jail.
Like I experienced as like a teen mom, and I guess the weird like mom shaming stuff. I guess that's probably why I'm so oblivious to
Right,
it
now you're
Correct.
because it's so PG compared to what I
You
experienced when I was
experienced- oh
younger.
my
Correct. I would do
God.
the opposite. I would be in the grocery store with Elijah, and people would be like, "He's so cute." I'd be like, $10. And Eli would be like, "Please don't, please don't." I would do that all the time.
You're like, he lives on chicken
I know.
nuggets and Little
It's like
Caesars.
$10.
Have 'em.
$10. He's yours. I'm tired.
I'll pay you. Here's 20.
And then
Take
you
it with
go
Little
through the
Caesars.
checkout line, and you're putting all the stuff on the cart, and I would pick up Eli like I was gonna put a conveyor belt. You'd be like, "Please don't!" Be like, "You behave when I'm here. I'll scan you."
I'll scan your
saying
ass
that,
in
I've
someone
gotten
else's
this
cart.
a lot recently. So a lot of, I mean, I know I'm not alone in this, but so we're a family of 5. My sister's a family of 5, and this was a conversation we had. But a lot of people, they're buying more in bulk, more than they used to a year ago.
Yeah.
Which we can talk, maybe that's a whole nother day when we talk about when Dawn and I went, 6 a.m. shopping right before the pandemic officially hit.
It wasn't
That
right
was
before.
terrible.
It was when they were telling people that the National Guard was coming in and putting us on
Correct.
lockdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We filled a minivan with groceries.
We did.
Anyways.
It was a really bad time.
So, but the thing is,
I
so
didn't buy any toilet paper though. I just bought all meat. That's all I
yeah,
bought.
I bought a turkey.
I'm like, yeah.
You didn't just buy a turkey. You bought deer. You bought paper mache deer or plastic deer.
That
Oh,
was
I've got
no.
meat at your
That
house.
Oh, that was the Christmas,
Thanksgiving.
that's right.
That was actual Black Friday shopping. This was not COVID shopping. There's a difference.
There's
There's a
come get your meat.
Yeah, I need to get some meat from your house.
Yes. So, anyways, I ran to Jewel recently, and I was like, I'm just gonna grab a few things. We just really need like beverages for the week. So I grabbed like three 12-packs of soda. I got 2 things of apple juice, 2 things of cranberry juice, 4 gallons of milk, and some orange juice. And I'm like, put everything up, and they're like, oh, you having a party? I'm like, no,
It's COVID.
This is for the week.
It's COVID.
No, not even
This
COVID.
is regular?
This is just for the
Wait,
week.
you guys go through 4 gallons of milk in a week?
Oh yeah.
Does anybody have kidney stones? That's like,
Oh,
I'm
that's a
lucky
lot
if
of
they
milk.
make it through the whole half gallon.
But
I've,
what
I've
she's not
downgraded
saying,
myself to a
my
half
kid, I
gallon.
don't even buy milk. We have almond milk, but I will tell you that her
My
husband
husband
drinks
drinks
a
a
lot
lot.
of milk.
Like my husband will
Huh.
fill his he's got your Portillo's cup size Yeti, the big guy,
Uh-huh.
Of
and he
milk?
fills it with milk.
oh,
Wow.
It's
that's
like
gross.
Do it.
I
I
mean,
mean,
do it.
I like whole milk.
yeah,
but-
we drink whole. Well, they drink whole milk. I don't
mean,
even drink milk,
My
so
wife
this is
gets
really
a
between.
half a gallon of skim milk, and I get a half a gallon of whole milk, and it usually goes bad before I can use it all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we go through a lot. We go we easily drink a gallon of milk probably a day, especially if there's no juice in the house.
Wow.
Yeah, we
If there's
switched
no
to almond
juice-
milk because Sammy used to drink milk all the time, and he'd say he has this tummy ache, and I'd say you're lactose intolerant, and he would tell me no way, and he would drink gallons of milk.
Yeah.
And then so I just stopped buying it, and I would only have unsweetened almond milk. And then he would want cereal, and he would be forced to use almond milk, and now he only drinks almond milk.
It really.
I
I
can't
mean, in
drink
your
almond milk.
cereal.
That is so gross.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
I
really
wouldn't
I don't
fun.
like
drink
milk
it.
in general.
Yeah, then you would be
So
different.
Rich tried to make me drink almond milk when I was pregnant with Eli, and he's like, "Oh, it's healthy, and you need to, drink the milk." So I'm
You're
like,
like,
"All right."
you fucking drink
And I
it.
took like a smell of it. Nope.
Yeah.
Like I am always like.
I
a
don't
sniffer.
ever
But
drink
I'm,
it.
I'm a baby though with juice. If I drink juice, I have to do half juice, half water.
We do that.
with a bunch
Me
of
and
ice.
the girls do that.
I can't drink just straight juice.
So Lisa
Yeah.
says hi again, everyone.
Hi,
Hi.
Lisa. Thanks for watching.
But my point is just I feel like I get mom shamed just for buying groceries for a week. And my sister commented that they gave her a hard time. She's like, I have 3 dogs, chickens, and 3 children plus a husband. Like, we go through a lot in a week. And her kids are all older. So she's got 1 in high school, 1 in 8th grade.
It's like I cannot.
It's like the amount of food that a family consumes.
Where does she normally shop?
I think she was at Meijer.
See, I highly recommend just having your shit delivered because those
Oh,
motherfuckers don't care.
True story, very short version is I'm like the queen of food
I
deliveries.
haven't gone to the grocery store.
And this last one, I ordered dog food and he rang.
Chewy.
No, this was at Meijer. I did Meijer delivery and the individual rung up. I ordered like a 12-pack of canned food for the dogs. That didn't exist, so they substituted, but they rang up per case. So I spent $75 on 6 cans of dog food.
Oh, smart.
Like pedigree, just regular pedigree.
But it was because they
He
rang
rang
it
up
up
the
90.
cases.
Yeah.
That should have come with a dog show.
I know.
Right?
And we sent a message, and the delivery was last Sunday, and I still haven't gotten my refund, which that's a
Yeah,
whole other
see,
topic.
dog food, Chewy.com.
Chewy.com is
prices.
amazing. And I have it
And
on
it comes
auto
in 2
ship.
days.
I have plug for Chewy.com.
Yeah.
I have it on auto ship, and I get the 75
Yep, I get
bag
the
of dog
jumbo.
food. And it comes to my house every
That
3
poor
weeks.
UPS
And
man.
it's like perfect timing. I
Yeah.
scoop it, and then in the afternoon. And you order it one day, and it's there the next.
Yeah, literally. It
It's
comes
the
in a day or
best
2
thing
days.
ever. And there's no fees.
And it's the cheapest.
Chewy.com. If they can only send me crickets.
Yeah, Chewy my wife uses that a lot for all our animals.
This is not a good time for.
So
Hi,
Crickets.
Christine Ditzler. So yeah, so it's just funny. It's just interesting to me though, like you said, like some people get shamed and they don't even notice it. Like you wouldn't even notice if you were getting shamed. I don't even notice that I get kid shamed, but I certainly felt the dog shame today.
That is so classic.
The dog shame was terrible.
What do you mean?
I called like 4 people. I'm like, would you have gotten your dog the biopsy? And apparently, I'm not the only one who said no.
No.
So,
No.
It's funny because like I told you on the phone that like the vet that I take Sally to, because she's 12, and when I took her to get her checkup, whatever, the vet was like, oh, I don't think we need to do the distemper and stuff because of her age. Like we could stop doing it now. We'll just stay up to date on the rabies and whatever. So, but I was like, no, we need to get the distemper because she keeps killing these animals in the backyard, and since she's in contact with these wild animals, she has to
Well,
still get
and
it.
I told Dawn for that because I did bring that up to her about Bowser because he
likes
Hannibal
bunnies.
the cannibal.
He
He's
is.
horrible. I'm like, just get,
he's Ted Bunny.
he's Ted Bundy.
That's what we call him.
Ted Bunny. He just needs. I'm like, just put a muzzle on that.
Yeah, she's like, no, don't get him a distemper because you're right. Just go get a muzzle, and in the spring when the bunnies come out,
Yeah.
just put a little muzzle on his mouth so
He'll
he doesn't
do
eat the bunnies.
he'll let you do anything to him.
He will.
He doesn't care.
No, it's because apparently he's half dead and he doesn't know it yet. Apparently.
This is well.
I mean, at this rate, he might not make it to spring.
I know,
let's be
seriously.
honest.
But don't say that. I
Oh,
love
Sally.
it.
Listen, he eats one more freaking litter of bunnies, and I'm gonna kill him.
I mean, seriously. And it feels so bad because we all talk about Kevin and what Kevin is crazy, but Kevin, Liz's husband, has become the bunny morgue.
Oh.
We find dead bunnies in our backyard, and some of them are pretty bad. And we have to call Kevin, and Kevin comes and picks up and gets the
You're
dead
gonna
bunnies.
have to start putting out.
It's so funny. The other day, I was like, Kevin, I really need some help. Liz, pay him. That's how it actually started, I think, with how I found out that you barter with sex. And then I said, could I get chores done and pay? She paid? He was like, no, she already has a... she's
got a very long
tab. So no, I can't add to it.
And I don't trust her to pay up.
Do you get offered? Do you have a tab
Not
with
at
your
all.
wife? You get paid on demand.
I mean, this is such a foreign concept to me. Hey, if you're ready for something, you're ready for something. If you're not, you're not.
I mean, maybe that's the
And-
difference then, because I mean, he's always fucking ready.
So,
Well,
He's still young.
yes,
well,
right.
I mean, I don't know what I want to say, but it's certainly not that readiness is an issue. But again, there's never been a hey, if you do this, I'll do that. It's a hey, how about it? And if it's a all right, whatever. I mean, it's just not. There's no barter.
Well, maybe I
It's
should
just
also
an
add, my
exchange.
husband's really lazy.
Oh my
So,
God.
but I mean,
We love you here, Kevin.
so he's so you're really. It's more of a motivation.
Oh, for sure.
But I mean, still, it's really
And-
weird.
Well, and here's
For-
the
to
thing.
me.
Let's be completely honest. Who is benefiting from this situation at their house? Liz, entirely, because she doesn't pay up.
That is true.
So
Well, see, and-
she barters.
I mean-
Kevin falls for
I know,
it.
that's what I was going to say. It's like,
Yeah.
at what point, how long have you guys been married?
Like 12 years?
12
13
years.
13?
13 years?
I don't know.
After 13 years,
I
even
should
12 years of
calculate,
marriage, you'd think that when she says, hey,
Does Kevin listen?
yes.
Hope
Kevin,
springs
I'll give you a
eternal.
little tip.
13 years. We
Okay,
were married.
Kevin.
I'll give you a little tip, Kev. There's such a thing as getting paid up front for services expected. So,
Or a security deposit,
Or a
right?
security
I mean, like,
deposit.
let's talk about our business. We have earnest
So-
money.
Earnest money.
We have security deposit. Like,
Yeah.
give out a little bit
there's
and
a
then
thing
collect
called
later.
a retainer.
Maybe no shaft taps
You
for the
know.
week.
There you go.
That you can say, it's like,
think
I
he
won't.
would get sad.
It's like the TikTok
So-
where the guy walks by the girlfriend or the wife and he doesn't slap her in the ass, and then like it's a whole
Yeah.
sad
Because
thing.
that
Right.
even.
Why
right,
didn't you
I
slap
can't
my
believe I'm
ass? You
gonna
always
say
like-
this.
Yes.
So in addition to that, I also give him a little honk sometimes. You just walk up and you go a little honk honk and walk away. Like
Uncle Pete.
The hell are you honking?
Yeah.
What do you think?
The
You
undercarriage.
No,
The undercarriage stuffing stuff.
no, there's no.
I love how he's just like, no.
Facial expressions where he's like, oh.
I know. Pete goes home and he's like, who is that lady?
I don't know.
Very scared.
No, I'm not scared at all. It's just this is so. It's just completely
We have a
foreign,
very unique relationship.
and that's wonderful for
They're
you.
high school sweethearts.
I'm glad
We
that you
are.
are.
They are. And let's be honest, they're really cute together. So whatever this craziness is, it works for them.
And see, my wife and I, we're just completely entirely direct.
Yeah.
You like this? Yeah. You like this? No. I mean, there's no. I mean, it's
If your wife
just-
said, "Does my butt look big in this?" would you say yes?
well, yeah.
but
Even
there's
if-
also
so you would say yes, and she would not be mad.
No, because I mean, you asked the question. Do you want the
I love
answer?
that. That's
Yeah,
what
but
I do
I
want.
think
I
you
do
would
want
tell
that.
me honestly.
Yeah, I've told Rich before, if I ask you if I look fat in something, I'm not baiting you. I'm asking you,
Right.
does
Yeah.
this look kind
Right.
of off? And then
And-
he's like, I'm not answering that because you're a 36-year-old grown-ass adult. You could look in a mirror and know that you look fucked up right now and you shouldn't go out in public.
And she'll tell me. Well, I mean,
That's
she'll
kind
like,
of how our house goes.
that's not working for you. I'm like, no. And she, no, that's not working for you. You may want to rethink what you're wearing.
That's
You're a
hilarious.
grown ass woman. Go
I will
look
tell
at
you.
the fucking mirror.
You know
You're
who's?
fucked up.
You know
Don't
who?
go out.
I'm training a great husband because Sammy the other day, I had something on that I had bought. Actually, it was one of those Stitch Fix shirts that I thought was cute, and I walked downstairs and Sammy went, "Where are you going in that?" And I was like, "To work." He's like, "Please don't." Please don't. I work 2 doors down from you. Please don't. I was like, oh my god.
What did you look coochie coochie?
No, it was just like this. It had a lot of design on it, and I don't really wear a lot of design, so I don't know if it was just because I tried to get out of him. I was like, was it because it was so different, or was it because it had so much designs? He was like, no, it was ugly. Oh, thanks.
All right then.
Appreciate that. That's
mean-
going in the garbage.
In fairness, he wasn't a fan when you first straightened your hair.
He was true. He definitely
He
was
was
not.
really upset
He
by
hated
that.
it. He hated when I started blow drying my hair out and making it straight. He hated it.
Yeah.
So did
he-
Eli.
Well, and
Eli
then
just tells me
we
all the time.
blew
he's like,
dry.
You're so cute.
See,
That's all he
Aw.
tells me, and I'm like, oh. I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
Can
then
I
we blew
borrow
dry
him?
Sam's hair.
I'm like, you're so cute. And he's like,
I
can
did
I
blow
get
dry Sam's.
Killmonger? Can you order Killmonger on Amazon? Oh, sure.
I know. That's what Eli says. Eli's like,
Oh.
you're the best mom in the whole entire world.
Yeah,
can I have $4?
V-Bucks? Yeah.
Can I have $4?
Adam's my
$4.
toucher, so he'll come over and be like, oh, mommy, your hair looks pretty today. And he just starts, like, petting me.
Up
Okay,
to something.
Sally says, agreed, Steph. If I don't get my ass grabbed every time I pass Tim, I wonder what's wrong.
Right?
No need to harder here. The store is just open. Come on in and get what you need, Tim. That's hilarious.
See, now that I understand.
Yeah.
That
But
I
is there really
understand.
any? I mean, like, I get it.
So
There
that's
is
what
a
she's
difference.
saying. She's saying if I didn't shaft tap him, he's going to be sad.
It's more so the honking. Like, he gets
the
more
norm
upset by
in
the
there.
Well,
honking.
I mean, the
Hey.
way that you said, he said no. I mean, that's obviously a.
He likes it.
yeah.
I mean, it's our own little.
it's your own thing, and
It's-
that's all right.
I
That's
I
cool.
don't think that it's something.
Everybody has their thing.
I mean, I goose my kids too in a different manner, where you just kind of poke them and now might even they're all it's just what we all do. We just poke each other, and I'm a little bit. I poke my husband a little bit differently than I poke the kids.
That's hilarious.
That I would certainly hope.
That's
So-
hilarious.
And him to you. So there you go.
Yeah.
He definitely pokes me differently.
Yeah, see?
So-
So, all right. Well, we have
We have about 2 minutes.
2 minutes
Yeah.
left. Is there anything else that anybody would like to say? I know that we're talking about next show. We decided we were going to talk about some Valentine's Day disasters.
Or we could do like worst dates ever.
Worst dates
like,
ever.
That'd be,
And I think
So
what
Oh,
we
I can do
should
the worst dates. I don't
yeah,
celebrate
so we'll
Valentine's
do
Day.
worst
Yeah,
dates ever,
worst
and
dates.
so tune in next week for worst dates ever. And Kent will be back, and he has his
I believe
deadline of next Friday
Oh, yeah.
where he has to talk about his date that he
speaking
had.
of worst dates
So
ever.
I'm sure it will
Yeah.
qualify as one of the worst dates. We'll have to see if Alice will come and join us about that.
Yeah.
So tune in and have your stories ready, and please join us. And If you have any topics that you would like to say, they can reach you. Where can they send topic ideas, Pete?
216thenet@gmail.com is super simple, super easy.
In the subject
Yeah.
line, put Wine with Dawn
Whining with
ideas.
Dawn, yep.
And you guys can even come and be a guest and share your stories.
As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, you can do that while you're live now. We have new software. We can actually share a link, and they can actually come in onto the screen, and you can talk, and you can hear, and they can interact with you during your live show.
Fantastic. We should
Seriously.
do that with Sally and Courtney and anybody else who wants.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
go
Bring
ahead
it.
and let us know if you'd like to do that. You can reach out to me on the Facebook, or you can go ahead and do 216 The Net.
Yep.
So thank you guys for tuning in. We hope you had a good time. Be safe this weekend. We're supposed to get a lot of snow, so be safe, everybody.
Yep.
Bye,
All right.
everyone.
So long.
Bye.
Wave it out.
Wave it out.
Keep
Wave
waving.
it out.
Keep waving.
Keep waving.
Keep waving.
Keep waving.
Keep waving.